For those of you that don't know, we have a booth there. Peninsula Patriots has a booth there. And we really need some folks to show up and help us. And it's not an all-day thing. You don't have to be there all day, but if you could take an hour or 2 hours, we need some folks to set up, help set up, and then maybe work an hour or two. If you want to stay all day, that's great. We would welcome that, but if you don't, just a couple hours here and there. I'm pretty much going to be there most of Saturday. Sunday, I've got we're donating water to the run that they have up there, so I'm helping my husband with our company, so I won't be there so much on Sunday, but Saturday I'll be there most of the day. But we need people tonight to let us know who can be there and for how long, because, you know, we paid money for the booth, and we don't want to look like we don't know what we're doing if nobody shows up and, you know, that kind of thing. So the whole reason for us doing the booth is to have our name out there, for people to get educated, to find out what we're about, that we're not a bunch of crazies, that we just love our country, and we just want things to turn in the right direction. So that's what we're doing out there on Saturday. Yes?
Just a note that we have for sale State of Development, the most condensed version of it, for $2. It's downloaded from, it's purchased $4.
So we only have 3 left.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
We'll bring someone from Jackson.
Okay, she said she will have that at the booth to be purchased. I think she said they were $2. And Elena's done a lot of work on that side of it as well.
Do you have a sign-up sheet for the volunteer and Daffodil Festival? Probably should.
Yes, we're going to have one tonight. That's what I'm saying. People get with us tonight and we'll sign you up. Absolutely. The other thing I wanted to mention to everybody really quick, and that is, before I introduce our speaker, is the other speakers that we're looking at having. Our April meeting for the 18th, we're looking at having Sharia and the Muslim Brotherhood at work in the United States. And we cannot, I was told by her that we cannot put this in the newspaper or press release, that we can put certain information on our meetup site, but for protection of her and other people, we have got to keep this kind of, you know, I mean, we definitely want to spread the word amongst ourselves, but we just can't put it out there, you know, like I said, in the press, so we can't do a press release or anything on that. But basically, it's the Southside Virginia Act for American Chapter Leader will give a PowerPoint program on militant Islam in America, from the driving ideology to the accommodation of the Muslim Brotherhood by the highest levels of government. And her name is Jane Hogan, and she will be here on the 18th. So you might want to put that on your calendar. It's going to be real informative. And so we're real excited about that. For our May meeting, we're going to have Bob Marshall. I know he has spoken at our group a couple different times, but he's coming in May to kind of update us on what's just happened in the General Assembly. As most of us know, it was like a whirlwind. It was unbelievable, the things that were coming out daily. So he's going to come and update us on, you know, exactly what the deal is and what's going on up there and what we can look forward to in the future. And I was approached by a doctor who's at Riverside, Dr. Paul Haggerty, and he said that he is not succumbing, you know, going to succumb to what the Obama administration is telling him he can do with his patients. So he's actually opening up a private practice right on Gloucester Main Street. Furniture was being moved in, I think, last week, but he's only taken on 1,000 patients. And he said that the way it's going to work basically is like a membership, very nominal fee. He's an internal doctor, but he said he would be seeing different folks doing physicals for people, you know, kids over 12 years old, that kind of thing. Anyway, he's asked to come speak to our group because he wants people to know exactly how Obamacare is affecting the health care firsthand from a doctor. And so I told him that I would present it to you folks. Do you guys think you would like to come hear him speak?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, I'll go ahead and get him on the schedule for June. And, you know, we tentatively got a couple other people in the works. We really want to have some folks come and talk to us about the, you know, maybe Fair Tax Act or something like that. But as I said before, I encourage each and every one of you, if you, I can't see if I look through this without reading. If you have somebody in mind, if you have a topic that you'd like to hear us bring before our Patriots, please contact one of the organizers. You know, we will certainly, I will tell you this much, we check people out. I don't want somebody coming in here and feeding us a bunch of garbage. But we try to get people in here that are motivational. We try to get people in here that will educate us, and that's our sole purpose. We want us to stay motivated and educated so we know what we're going up against on a daily basis so that we can be prepared. So I'll put it out to you guys again. Email me, email one of the other organizers. If you have anybody at all or a topic, please let us know and we'll look into it. Now, if it's somebody way up there, like Mr. Miller, it might take us several months of begging. No, I'm just kidding you. It might take us, a few months of emailing back and forth to get everything coordinated, but we will work on it. We will work on it and do our very best to get him here. And so with saying all that, just wanted to read to you about our special speaker that's here tonight. If I can find it. Okay, before I introduce who he is, he's got a table over here with his books. We did not set up our pen pat store tonight because we wanted everybody to have a chance to focus on Mr. Miller over here. He drove all the way down from Maryland today. Yes, he's staying in a hotel tonight, so he'll get a good night's sleep. But he did not charge us a dime for coming here. And that's amazing because that tells me he's a true patriot. But he's here to speak to us tonight, to motivate us and educate us on some things. So please be supportive with his books because like I said, he didn't charge us a dime for coming down. He used his gas, his time, and he has a family to support as well. So with saying that, let me tell you who he is. It says Ron Miller is a conservative commentator who writes extensively about identity politics and the repercussions of placing race above values, emphasizing the harmful effects of liberal policies on the black community. Ron is executive director of Regular Folks United, an organization dedicated to the advancement of liberty and our nation's founding principles. The 9-year-plus veteran of the United States Air Force and married father of 3, writes columns for the Southern Maryland Online, Red County, RegularFolksUnited.com, American Thinker, and his own website, TeamRonMiller.com. He is an outspoken advocate for free enterprise, low taxes, and reasonable regulation, limited and effective government focused on national security, public safety, and administrative justice, traditional 2-parent families, and the sanctity of human life. From 2001 to 2004, Ron Miller served in the federal government as a senior executive with the Federal Emergency Management Agency, then the Department of Homeland Security, and finally with the U.S. Small Business Administration. And without further ado, I'd like to welcome Mr. Ron Miller.
Thank you. I have to tell you, she's very persistent. And I really respected that. And let me say this. One of the reasons that I don't charge for coming to speak to groups like this is because I think that there are some things that just transcend the normal economics. And these times do that. They really do. I was listening to some of the conversation about dealing with local government, and I have a story about that. I lived in Florida, Melbourne, Florida for a time, and my wife, who is from France, was looking to have a part-time business at home as a translator and interpreter. But Melbourne didn't allow home-based businesses, at least their zoning didn't allow it. And so we thought, well, we could do this underground, but then we couldn't get a bank account, we couldn't do all the things that legitimize a business. So I decided I was going to petition my local government. I thought this was going to be a straightforward process. After all, I'm paying their salaries. They work for me, right? Well, not only did they act as if they were princes and potentates. I mean, you walk into the room and they sit up there on the dais and they look down at you and they give you a select amount of time to speak, and then when your time is up, you hear them discussing among themselves. You ever have a parent talk about you in the room? And you're saying, I'm here. And it was sort of that experience. And I fought single-handedly for about 4 months. We got what we wanted. And in fact, I say we. I had all these people who said they were going to come behind me and support me, but it ended up being me. So please, support Ruth. She really can use that kind of support. We got what we wanted, but I remember from that experience thinking 2 things. Number one, if I ever have an opportunity to be in a position of leadership, I am never going to lord over the people that I supposedly work for. Never. I mean, you see it in Congress, you see it with the hearings. I'm inclined to step from behind that dais and go down there and sit with these folks and talk to them as if they're the ones that hold the keys to government, because ultimately that's what was intended, right? So I really admire what you're trying to do, and I do encourage you to help. The other thing I found interesting as I was listening to some of the discussion is when you talk about bringing people into education,